This is Randy.
And this is Melanie. And today we're reviewing Community Season 6, Episode 10, Basic RV Repair and Palmistry.
Palmistry?
Yes.
What is palmistry?
Palmistry is the art or science of reading palms.
Oh, nice. Okay. In this episode, we join the Greendale 7, or at least the current incarnation of the Greendale 7, in a predicament. Basically, they're on an RV.
They're in an RV.
Oh, they're in it. They're inside of the RV, Potashnik's home RV. Mm-hmm. And they're in Colorado on some random road. And they end up stranded. And they have a large hand statue on the roof. And they kind of explain a little bit, but that's kind of a big part of the plot point. Not in the explanation itself is the plot, but the fact that there was no explanation for their scenario is the plot.
Well, there was kind of an explanation.
Yeah. But not the one Abed wanted.
Right.
This was an ultra meta episode.
Mm-hmm.
Ultra meta. You've got characters arguing about the show, whether they're on a show, they're tired of hearing about the show, whose show it is. You've got Abed extremely concerned with the structure of the episode. His story throughout is all about his concern about the structure of the episode, the structure of the storytelling, what's going to happen because, are they in Act 2? Is this Act 1? If this is Act 2, then Act 3 is going to be something worse. It's super meta.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's kind of the synopsis.
Yeah.
I guess, what did you think of this episode, Melanie?
I wasn't really all that fond of it. I like when Abed is meta somewhat. I don't necessarily like it when it's makes him seem insane. And this was one of those kind of episodes. Yeah,
if you look at Abed as a character in a story that knows he's in a story, he doesn't seem insane. It's kind of impossible not to look at it as he's a character in a story who obviously shouldn't know he's in a story. Mm-hmm. So then you got to look at it logically as if you were in the story, and yeah, he's an insane person.
Yeah.
In that case.
But even as a person in a story who knows it's a story, he struggles insanely to try and make things go his way, rather than just living the story.
Yeah, arguably he takes himself out of the experience by trying to shape where the experience goes instead of just living it.
Right.
Which ties a little bit into the moral of the episode. Part of me wants to not enjoy it as much because it's overly meta. And then on the other hand, I really enjoy that stuff. So I enjoyed every time he tried to force a flashback. I enjoyed their arguing over if it's a show, what the show is.
The only part of that I enjoyed was the part where he made Abed go away, and then they were still arguing a little bit. He's like, wait, then this is the show now. He's like, never mind, Abed, come back. That's better than what was.
Oh, yeah. Well, exactly. Even Jeff, kind of concedes that maybe they are in a show. Or at least the idea of, if we're going to pretend that this is a show, I'd rather have that than whatever is actually happening here. I enjoyed Abed and Jeff's arguing. Jeff unleashed on Abed more than he unleashes on most anybody. Mm-hmm. He is kind of mean and gets very angry, and I thought that was enjoyable. And I liked Abed's reaction to it.
If it hadn't been so much, I probably would have enjoyed it, but it was too much for me, the Abed stuff. Everybody else can pretty much not be there, and it'd be the same for me, except for the Dean. I like some of the Dean stuff.
Well, we enjoy the Dean quite a bit anyway.
Yeah. For
the most part, I would agree that most of the characters, the story would be the same regardless if the other characters were there. Mm-hmm. But I liked it because you've got a tight space, and you've got all the characters there. Mm-hmm. So there is interaction and bouncing back and forth. And like we've said numerous times on these reviews of this season, for me anyway, it works best when you have all the characters together, most of the time arguing or just dealing with each other. That works the best for me. So I enjoyed that part of the episode.
And actually, the end that had nothing to do with them other than, a little remotely, was probably my favorite part. When it went to the guy that was going to purchase the hand.
Okay. Yeah, kind of a very non sequitur, just a very odd, strange scene.
But I think part of the reason that I didn't like it is we discussed right after we watched it that the little speech that Abed gives toward the end, summing up the whole issue with the hand, is a thing about grasping on to things that you love, but then being able to let them go. And I'm like, to me, it basically is Harmon saying, it's a good show and I'm glad you like it, but you need to let it go. And that kind of, I didn't care for it. I'm like, yeah, I know. I'm an adult. I can figure this out for myself. You don't need to put it in a freaking episode.
Yeah, I understand, because it does kind of seem like his moral of the story speech is very much a letter to the viewers, is like, hey, come on. Sometimes you got to let it go. All in all, I enjoyed it. I haven't got a chance to watch it again. I kind of want to, but it does have that, it bites of a bittersweet because of, as you were saying, it does feel, once again, this isn't the first time in this season where it feels like there's the obvious message of, I don't want to do this anymore. But I enjoyed this episode quite a bit. I think I enjoyed it quite a bit more than you. I just enjoyed the banter, the arguing. I enjoyed being able to focus more on Abed, because it seems like for the most part, and it's still kind of true because they're following back on Abed being stuck on being in a show, but it really does feel like, and they've mentioned it several times in the show, they don't know what to do with Abed without Troy there. There we go. Well, let us know in the comments below what you thought. Do you agree? Do you disagree?
Who do you think should be the new Troy? Frankie? Chang? Dean? Or someone else that we didn't mention?
There can never be a new Troy.
Yeah, I'm just...
Troy. I think Troy was my favorite.
I know he was your favorite.
Because he was great. Danny Glover's performance was fantastic in that show.
He's got his own show now, baby.
That's irritates me. If he wants to go off and make music, that's fine. It's something different. It's a different medium. Then he's got his own show, and I'm like, no. Why can't... No. You got time to do TV now. It's time to go home. Forget what he wants to do with his life.
Well, maybe if Community doesn't pick up another season, Abed can go be on Danny Glover's show.
I don't care about Danny Glover's show. I don't even know what it is.
I don't either. I know nothing about it other than he's on it.
Is it Troy and Abed in the morning?
It can be.
Well, it's not. If it was, I would watch that show every day. Click like if you would watch Troy and Abed in the morning every day.
And visit us at girlixpodcast.com to listen to our awesome comic book podcasts and to get new weekly release lists and other little nerdy bits here and there that are wonderful and make life worth living.
It's like bacon bits, except more nerdy, and you sprinkle it on the salad of life.
Yep.